All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Tuesday night training. Jesse McPherson coming at you live here. February 5th for me in the Philippines, where I'm at. February 4th for you guys here as we are entering into the month of love, Valentine's Day. Hey, look, and some of you guys, men, I'm helping you out. If you haven't asked your girl to be your Valentine's yet, today would be the day. So you still got 10 days, so you're not too far behind. But anyway, so welcome to our Tuesday night. If you are just joining us, let us know where you're logged in from, where you are watching from. Always love seeing that. If you can put your cameras on, always love seeing your beautiful, smiling faces. One of those things I always love. What's up, Tim? I love it. So what's up, Rika? As you have an opportunity to do so, if you are hiding your phone at work and listening on your earpiece, I love you even more. But if you're catching us on the replay, we're gonna make sure you guys know about a few different things here. I want to get into today a little bit more of a tactical training that I think is going to be very important for us and for it was really important for me to understand many years ago, and I'll kind of get into the story of how this came about for me when it came to structuring your day, your time, but also in helping coach people. Because how many of you guys have ever run into the excuse of I'm too busy? How many of you guys have run into that? How many of you guys have had the one is like I don't like, how do I have, I don't have enough time to do this, right? Totally understand that. It's something very common that you're going to experience, something your team is going to experience. So we're going to dive into that question a little bit deeper because there's the old adage, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And I heard somebody say to me, when it comes to you can have your cake and eat it too if you become a master planner. And when it comes to this, something I think is going to be important. So we're going to go through that. But before we do, I want to make sure and get into some of the updates. Obviously, if you guys were on our all ambassador call last week with Eddie Head, you heard about some pretty incredible announcements coming to us in the month of February. So we have right now February, whatever you want to call it. It is, but this is a season for upping your rank, upping your commitment, and making sure we get you guys to your next rank heading into our RTEs in the month of March and then heading into our May convention. But let's go through a few things here. On our website, if you haven't been on there, obviously elitesynergysystem.com, elitesynergysystem.com. We've got some great updates for you guys, actually, that just went live the other day. We've got some updated presentations. We've got one for India. We've got one for Philippines. We've got one for Sweden and Norway, some that are being updated here. And we're having an updated presentation coming from James Kursky with an updated push play that should be coming in the next couple of days. But there's nothing wrong with the one that we currently have. There's just updating. We're just doing a few little tweaks here. We're going to add the Viago Pay, add a few more pieces to it, just so if people can see even more value inside of the program. But this is a really cool one, and I want to make sure you guys show this, and I want to give a huge shout out to Linda and Marty for putting together these incredible quick coaching from our website. Now, one of the things that you're going to see more of inside of our back office is you are going to see back office tutorials, and they're coming, but I want you guys to take a look at what's already there. So if you head over to our website, and you get onto website Elite Synergy System, you can see everything here. But if you click on that quick coaching, and you can see scrolling down, it has an unbelievable amount of short little videos. So logging in, an overview of the site, your booking engine, booking hotels, booking cruises, booking car rentals, booking flights, booking a luxury home, booking a long stay week, activities, using the marketplace, yeah, escape your ways, reward escapes, applying the Diago points. These are all bite-sized tutorial videos that are 2 minutes, 3 minutes sometimes. So converting your points, right? So using people say, how do I book my 4-night getaway in Mexico? Oh, right here. What's the unlimited dine and stay in Europe? Boom, right here. So from healthcare, your telemedicine benefits, shopping, your members deals, your Be Well benefits. So there's an unbelievable amount of value here, an incredible amount of work that has been put into this. So drop some hearts into the comment section here. So thank you guys so much for putting that together. It is a huge win for all of us. And many more that are coming. So as we have been finalizing some pieces in the back office, you're going to see back office tutorial trainings as well inside of the program, which is going to be very helpful. Now let's head back over to our PowerPoint so you guys can see. Okay. A couple of things here. Our inner circle. So Viago inner circle. This is one of those things where if you're not in the inner circle, you're not in the inner circle. All right. So we want to get you listening to all the trainings, replays every week. We're doing new drops, and this is incredible amount, over 100 hours of content and training for you to be listening to by topic, by speaker, by training, inner circle conversations, mindset. This is one of those things that for me, I would say is probably the most important thing you'd be listening to. When I was looking to go from nothing to something in this profession, it was listening constantly. I remember in Los Angeles, I was living in Los Angeles, so there was a lot of traffic. So listening to in traffic, I didn't listen to music for like the first 4 years until I got to six figures. They said, look, just turn it off for a little bit here and put things into your brain every day that are going to help you in building your business. Now, we've got daily presentations. Again, you can find these on our website where we've got daily presentations to be being done by different leaders all over the place, right? So there's so many places to connect your prospect or connect somebody to seeing the information that is going on here with Viago. Now, we are a month away from Dubai, which is going to be an incredible escape and convention in our playbook convention for Dubai. So can't wait for those of you guys that are going to be there. The booking is closed for this. RTEs is our regional training events coming up. Make sure you get onto that schedule and to one of those locations. And then our big event, Amplify, coming up May 2nd through the 4th in Atlanta. This is going to be our next North American convention, which is kind of the place, all of us. So individually, we're building into our local markets for until May 5th. So the month of February, pushing into, May 8th. And then all of that pushing into our May convention. Now, this month, we've got an incredible promotions that we have for you, which is our triple play, which is our recruiting contest or enroller contest. When you go out there and sign somebody up with our launch pack, you get a point. And those that get into the top 10 get some crazy cash prizes, 5. And you guys are seeing those prizes, which I'll make sure you guys we're pushing through. And then our double cycle promotion. That means for the month of February, every cycle instead of 50 is $100. Now, for those of you guys that are kind of like going, how do those cycles work? Or how do team commissions work? Here's what I want you to think about. Simple way. 2 launch packs on your left team, 2 launch packs on your right team equals a cycle. That's simple because every pack is 2 points. You need 4 points on each side to cycle. 2 left, 2 right. So that is a very simple way. We're going to make sure you guys understand that. Okay. Now, oh, hang on one second. I'm going to mute. Okay. So basically through this, one of the things we want to make sure everyone understands is what are we focusing on for this month? And what we're focusing on very simply is getting your 6 is what everybody's focused on. So Club 6, Club 6, Club 6. If so, hashtag Club 6. I want you to be thinking about that's the bread and butter behind it. It's our core foundational program we want to help everybody get to. So as your first target market inside of the business. Now, is it possible to go hit bronze before hitting Club 6? It is, right? Obviously, right? So if I get 1 leader on my left and 1 leader on my right, and they go get 5 each, I hit bronze and I'm not 6 yet because I only maybe have 2 directs. So it could happen. However, so I don't want you to think just because my first core goal is to get to 6, right? That getting to bronze couldn't happen with before that. That's okay too. So if you hit bronze and then you hit Club 6, we're not going to be mad at you. So whichever one. So both of those are important as we're getting this through this. But I want to talk to you guys a little bit about time, right? So time and time management and all these different things. I'm sure you guys have heard this expression, right? So, and it's one of those things where most people out there, this is not a taught practice. When it comes to scheduling, planning, putting all these things together, I don't know about you. I don't ever remember hearing about this class in school. It was not something that I remember. I don't remember taking a how to structure your day best class, how to get the most out of your productive life. Now, and even goal setting, which isn't even really management, like time management. So is something that I just like, I don't remember that class ever being on the docket ever. I don't know about you guys. Maybe in some alternative world it was, or in some other timeline. But unfortunately, it's one of those things that I feel that even myself and everybody that I know, for the most part, has had some struggle with, okay? Feeling like there's not enough time in the day. I'm overwhelmed. I can't get enough done, or being unproductive. And unfortunately, I find so many people in our business model are very busy but unproductive, or they're spending time on doing a lot of things they think are doing the business when actuality are just something in learning the business. So what we want to do is I want to separate this a little bit here and kind of maybe dissolve a little bit of the mystery behind this, but also to make sure that you guys have a solid plan that you create. Because remember, it's your plan, it's your business, right? So if you're ever overwhelmed in your business, it's your fault. Oh, how dare I? I know, right? Then what that generally means is this: if you're overwhelmed in your business, it's usually because you're stuck up in here. We got to get you out of your head, right? So we got to get you in on paper and get a plan together. So number one. Number two is this, is you're probably trying to be on someone else's plan or on somebody else's pressure. And what I mean by that is some of us are really good at letting other people pressure us into something that we feel we have to do, not necessarily for us, but for them. That happens. Now, that can come from a lot of pressure, outside circumstances, from family, from friends. It can come even from upline, right? So it could come from different parts of your business, right? But many of us, you want to know who's the best person at putting pressure on ourselves usually? Ourselves. How many of us are really good at just kicking the crap out of yourself as to not doing enough, not doing just all that. Look, I'm guilty of this too. So for sure. So I'm preaching to the choir here a little bit here when I'm talking to you guys about this. But let's go through this. Now, where did this originally start for me? Actually was a kind of a unique situation. So the first time I really started studying, kind of managing time was, gosh, it was 2006-ish, 2006-ish. I'd been inside of network marketing for about 4 years. Now, I was lucky to have some success being young and just obnoxiously motivated to, go after this thing like crazy and just resilient, I think is all get out because, hearing the word no just didn't bother me. In fact, the more people told me no, the more people I was interested in proving wrong, I guess. So I'll give myself a little credit for that. However, in 2004, I was fortunate enough to go on a leadership retreat in Salado, Texas, with a guy named Paul J. Meyer. Now, Paul J. Meyer was the first billionaire that I ever had a chance to spend some time with. And talk about an incredible human. And I was really fortunate to have to go to two, maybe I might have gone to three of his retreats. Anyway, he was running leadership retreats for his organization that was a part of the first company that I was a part of. And in order to reach this, you had to be doing pretty well, meaning you had to be at a level in that company where you were signing up a minimum of 75, 75, 75. So you were signing up a minimum of 225 people a month in your business. And you had to be doing it from three separate organizations. So a minimum of 75 new signups from three separate lines of lineage that you introduced to the company. So it was a pretty good feat. So in order to do that, and inside of this room was most of the people that were doing incredibly well in that company. And one of the things he said to me, well, he didn't say it to me, he said it to a group, but it hit me like he was talking to me, was there's no such thing as time management. And I remember thinking, this guy off his rocker? I mean, he's almost 80 now, but I mean, come on, right? And he was like, no, 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 there's no such thing as time management. The reason why is because you can't manage time. Time is not something you can bottle. Time is not something you can purchase. Time is not something that you can save. Time is not something that you can get back. You cannot go back to. You cannot manage time. We are given the same amount of time. There is no more time. So the question isn't whether or not you have good time management. The question is if you have good personal management with the time that you have, because all of us have the same amount of time. But how come it seems like other people are able to accomplish so much more or be so much more productive? I don't know. Have you guys ever thought about this? It's like, how does the person, run four companies? And it's like, and I'm having a hard time managing myself and my 9 to 5. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not running 15 employees or 100 employees or that. And part of it is this, for the most part, is learning two things, which was number one, which was personal management. The second thing is delegation or learning leverage, learning how to create leverage in your business and in your life. Most of us are never taught leverage, which is one of the reasons why, for the most part, most people are taught to be leveraged, not to use leverage when it comes to their time. So in this, I want you to take a look at it is kind of going, what is your relationship? So if I was to write down, so on a scale of 1 to 10 right now, if you were to say, what is my relationship with time like? Think about it for a quick sec, right? So I know this is not your normal conversation. I promise we'll get that to something I believe that was going to help you guys. What is my relationship with time like? Huh. No one's ever asked me that. I'm betting probably very few times in your life has anybody ever asked you this type of a question. But it's something that's very important because how we approach our day and how we approach the time that we're given usually will determine a lot of our success or a lot of our frustration, which a lot of times will lead to our failures because of our relationship with time. Now, I'm not going to go into our relationship with money, and that's another conversation and a whole nother rabbit hole and a whole nother book we'll probably need to get through. However, today I want to focus on this one. So, time. So, how do I feel about it? Do I feel like there's a lot of time? There's not enough time? Do I feel like time is something that is how valuable is it to me? Is it important to me? Do I think about it often? Am I hiding about it? Is it something that I'm proud of? When I think about time in terms of context of past, present, and future, because that's how most people think of time, right? So if I think of my past, my time I spent in my past, how do I feel about it? How do I feel about the time I'm spending in my present? How do I feel about the time I spent yesterday, right? How do I feel about my time that I have today? How do I feel about tomorrow? How do I feel about the next year, the next 5 years? What is my relationship with time? And for many of you, one of the reasons why some of this business can seem daunting at times is because it has nothing to do with the business. In fact, it doesn't even have anything to do with your plan. It has to do with your relationship with time. So I would like to help you kind of open up a conversation to go, look, hey there, Mr. Time. I would like to start over because I haven't been a good friend to you. So, okay. Now, some of you guys are going, okay, well, all right. How do you get out of something? Well, if you want to get the most out of a relationship, here's what I found. Relationships are not where you go to get, it's where you go to give. That's where I feel you get the most out of relationships. So when you go to a relationship and you're like, where it feels symbiotic is that both people or both parties are going to give, meaning like they're both contributing to it. So there's a reciprocal where it's like, oh, this feels good to me. I'm giving and they're giving. So that way, oh, this feels good. Where over a course of time, relationships will end up waning on the fact that it's like, okay, if I'm just going to give to it. So how do I give to my relationship of time? Well, number one is to be kind of cognizant of this thing that we have that is ongoing in terms of this. Now, I will give you one of the first things that I learned from Paul Meyer. He said, if you want to learn personal management skills of the time that you had, he said, I'm going to give you the number one thing, which is a very simple thing, is plan your day before you start your day. Plan your day before you start your day. Now, I know this seems juvenile, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, where is your day plan today? Like February 5th, is it on the books for you? Or is it, I'm going to wake up and go, let's see how it goes? Right? Let's let fingers crossed, baby. Let's hope this goes my way, right? That's not what we're looking to do for most people. We want you to have a plan attack where it's like, we're confident. So how we build confidence in our future is by having a plan that your brain sees as a direction that's going to get it where it wants to go. So, what is my relationship? So, plan your day before you start your day. So, now this can be something stupid, whether you're doing it on a planner, you're doing it in your speed. I've used to do it for years I bought those planners, and there's so many of them that are out there. For a long time, I was using Tony Robbins, and there was a My Time planner. Then a guy named David Bird had these incredible planners that he was making that were specific from Paul J. Myers Institute, which were good as well. But most of them, if you kind of take out all the bells and whistles behind it and you kind of pull back all the layers of the onion, one of the biggest things was this is, first of all, is the starting the process. Now, for many of us, if this is an not a if this is not a some of you it's not a new conversation. The question is how efficient are you at this? So is where you're planning your day where I already know where you're going. This is where a lot of people end up with a ship without a rudder. And the reason why, and they kind of feel like they're going in circles all the time, is because they don't have a solid plan towards winning what their day looks like. So let's talk a little bit about what that would look like in this course of building your business, because time is one of the things that I feel like a lot of people put off as as not feeling like they're doing enough. Many of you can be doing enough. It's just needing to be spread out over a period of time and be consistent with the actions to get the result you're looking for. So in other words, a good example is like, going to the gym. So you don't need to go to the gym 5 hours a day. In fact, when you're just getting started, like 30 minutes for most of us, if you're right, unless you're trying to look like Travis just used to look. You guys remember Travis, right? Unless you're trying to look like that, then, I mean, I'm telling you what. So, yeah, you don't need a whole lot more than that, right? So now in the beginning phases, what we're talking to do is creating progress in this. So I want to kind of put you through. Here's where I believe is the most productive time that you could be spending for a brand new person. And then you can ramp it from here, but planning this through on your calendar and planning this through on your schedule, figuring out what's the difference between being busy and what's the difference between being productive as the difference makers towards creating long-term success inside of your business. Because this business, although there are times where there's short sprints, this business really is a marathon. Over the period of time, when people burn themselves out and then all of a sudden they disappear. Now, don't get me wrong, I've been on sprints and then I've collapsed and I'm like, oh, right? But eventually what needs to happen is this is there's almost no times where I would just disconnect completely from doing the things that I'm about to show you that are going to help you in moving forward. So please write these down inside of your business and as a game plan. So when a new ambassador gets started, okay? So when a new ambassador gets started, here's one of the things I want you to be thinking about, okay? Now, many of you guys are not new, but how much time, okay? And here's the question, right? How much time do you see yourself committing to your business on a weekly basis? Now, I know this will vary from week to week, right? So, and sometimes it'll change based on what's going on in your life, right? But how much time, how many hours per week, okay? Okay. How many hours per week? This should be a number because if we don't have this, then how can somebody have an accurate plan as to what they're doing with their business? Now, most people will say something like 5 to 10, right? So 5 to 10 hours a week, maybe more. If they've got more, fantastic. But honestly, 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week is enough. So I'm going to go off of this kind of concept. Now, I'm going to bring this back to you guys in a quick minute. But for now, what I want to talk to you guys about is what I call the core four, okay, dailies, okay, daily activities, okay. So these are the core four. If you did these every single day, I know, like without a shadow of a doubt, I don't like, there's no like zero, kind of like, like 0% doubt type of situation that you're not going to be further in your business if you do these consistently, okay. So the number one, okay, the number one thing, okay, is use your membership. Okay. So now I know you're like daily, use it daily. Yes. Yes. You find a way to use it daily. Even if what you're doing is you're just searching for something daily and you're finding another cool thing. Remember, our job as ambassadors is to provide more value. You want to build a lifelong business, a long lasting business. You need to create raving fans. How do you create raving fans? Deliver more value than anybody else. That's the deal. Become more valuable. If you want your organization and be like, well, the company, no, you are a company, you are a business, you are an organization. So use your membership. So I don't care if that's on your daily deals, right? So is finding a way to be able to use it to create more value for yourself. Now, of course, I know you're not going on a trip every day, so I'm not expecting you to be able to do that, but using your membership every day as much as you can. So that's a simple thing. That couple minutes a day. Second one is 2 new. I'm going to put that exposures a day. Okay. All right. Now, 2 new exposures. What is this? These are 2 new people that you've invited to say, hey, take a look, take a look. They're what I call in play, in between yes and in between no. If somebody is said yes, they're no longer in the decision-making process. All right. So 2 a day, every day. Now, I'm not saying you got to do this 7 days a week. Maybe you only do it 6 days a week, take Sunday off, whatever it is. Totally great with that. Yeah. So, but in this particular case, I'm going to do something silly where I'm going to do this off of 5 days a week, right? So, okay. Now, if this was you, okay, so, and it's just one person, okay, so, and you did 2 a day, okay, so this is 2 exposures a day. So, actually, I'm going to draw it on a separate piece of paper so you can see this a little bit better, okay? So if this is, okay, so, okay, this is just the amount of people. So, and you're doing 2 exposures a day. Okay, so if you're doing this a day, and so if you did that 5 days a week, that would be 10 in a week. If you did that 50 weeks out of the year, right? So, okay, so instead of 52, you take a couple weeks off. Now you're talking about 500 exposures. 500 exposures in a year? You can't tell me someone ain't joining. Like, you can't be that bad. They say even a busted clock is right twice a day, people. So in this, look, if 1% said yes, you'd have 5 that joined. If you had 5 that joined, okay, so, and this is the amount of people, you were the first one that started it. Now you got 5 people doing 2 exposures a day. That's 10 exposures a day, 50 exposures a week, 2,500 exposures a year. Somebody's joining. Like, you're just not going to be that bad, right? It's going to happen. Now, on top of that, if 1% said yes, that'd be 25. Now, if you had 25 people doing 2 exposures a day, that's 50 a day, 250 a week, 12,500 exposures a year. You know, what this is getting close to for you is what we call done or freedom, right? Because look, you're going to find some good people in there. You're going to find people that no matter what you do, they would join and build it without you. Isn't that what you want? You know, so now why this is important when it comes to these 2 exposures and these cores is because it's so easy to do 2 exposures or 2 invites and 2 hey check it outs, right? So but it's also easy not to do. And so what most people don't realize is the difference between the person who has massive success and the person that feels like a failure after a period of time. A lot of the times it doesn't have to do with a lot of work. It just has to do with the right work. Okay. So these 2 exposures every single day. Now let's go number 3. This is very simple. So, okay. Now here's what I would say. 15 minutes. Okay. So I would even say potentially more, but if you can do 15 minutes minimum of personal development development. That says development. Some of you guys remember I can't spell. So, okay. All right. So personal development. Personal development. Okay. So, and yes, I'll put that back up here. So personal development. This is one of those things non-negotiable in this because you're either growing or you're dying. There is no in between. For the most part, in our business, things will get better when you get better. So the more you do, the more you earn. So for most, it's not so much what we need to do, it's who we need to become. But this right here, so what do we listen to? Inner circle, right? Inner circle. What are you reading? What are you putting in your head? And then the fourth thing here, okay, is having what I call a workout partner. Okay. A workout partner or someone that you are holding accountable to. Now, I'm going through these quickly because this isn't the main topic of our conversation here today, but it is an important one. Okay. So, what's a workout partner? A workout partner is somebody that you are in communication with, that you have similar goals with, that you are getting it done. Okay. So, getting it done. So, here's this table again. I'm going to pull that up if you want to take a picture of that. It'll also be up on the replay. Of the exposures. But from a workout partner, one of the things that's going to be really important is somebody that you're in communication. Now, this is different than a mentor. A mentor might be somebody in your upline that you're striving to get towards their level. So if I'm going to the gym, usually it's somebody that has a similar level of goals as me, maybe a similar level of fitness than me. They might not be exact, but pretty similar. In other words, if my workout partner is putting in 40 hours a week and I want to put in 4 hours a week, we're probably not the best workout partners for each other. So someone that's usually striving to be around the same rank or goals and setup that you are, at least the same level of commitment. Now, when it comes to this, now, why this is important is this. These 4 things, what I would tell you is this. If you use your membership daily, are you going to have belief in the program? The answer is what? Yeah. So most of it is going to be a transfer of belief in this, right? And how long does that take? Minutes? Well, I'm going to give you 10. Right? So, right? So 10 minutes on a daily. How long does it take to do 2 invites to say, to 2 reach outs to two people that I'm saying, hey, listen, so I check this out, check this out. Look, hey, I found this amazing travel club. It's the most amazing thing. I can't wait. I'm going to Dubai. Do you want to come with me? Right? So, right. What if it took you 5 minutes which I think would be long, but I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Okay? All right. How long does it take to listen to 15 minutes of personal development? Yeah, 15 minutes. You guys are getting this, right? Right? Now, how long does it take for you to connect with a workout partner about what your goals are? Now, what do you connect with your workout partner on? Here's what you connect with your workout partner on when you're brand new if you don't know. Planning your day before you start your day and what your plan was. That's it. So hey, here's what I'm doing tomorrow. So if I connected, let's say Rika was my workout partner, I'll say, hey, Rika, so tomorrow, here's what I'm doing. I got my goal is making sure I do 2 exposures. I got to follow up with John. I got to follow up with Sam. I got a presentation I'm doing at 6 o'clock. That's on my schedule for tomorrow. And that's what I want to be committed to. And I'm listening to the Inner Circle conversation with Eric G. So that's what I'm doing. What am I committed to? And then what am I following through with? See, this is where a lot of people, you guys have heard this expression, talk is cheap. That's not true. Most people have cheap talk. And what I mean by that is they don't do what they say they're going to do. So therefore, when they speak, there's no power in their words because they're not following through. When you start following through with these baby commitments, I'm telling you guys, like this thing starts to go nuts. So workout partner, how long does it take? Look, 5 minutes, right? Okay, 5 minutes. So what are we at here? So we're at this, 5. We're under an hour. Like, what if we rounded up and they said, okay, I'm going to give you 20 minutes for exposures, right? And I'm going to give you 20 minutes to use your membership. We are at a full-blown 1 hour mark here to do these things. Now, why this is important when it comes to time versus being busy versus being productive inside of your business, right? Is there anything more important than these 4 things inside of your business on a daily basis? And I would venture to say no. The only other thing that would be valuable outside of this is attending an event or going to a training, right? So kind of like we're doing right now outside of this, but we don't have those every day. You're not on a training every day. And you know, it's not something that should be there, right? So if I'm looking at this, so here's my question. Did you read or did you listen to the Inner Circle for 15 minutes yesterday? If the answer is no, don't beat yourself up. I don't want you to do that, but I want you to go, okay, if the number one guy in the company says this is the most important thing for me to be doing with 1 hour of my day and I'm not doing them, I have the problem. Okay. So now, why is this significant? Well, most people, when they get started, how many hours a week do they say they have to do their business? 5 to 10 hours a week. What is this? 1 hour a day, which is what? 5 to 10 hours a week. Now, if I'm working with a new person and they don't know that this is the most important thing for them to be doing. So the question is did a day go by where you didn't do these things? And if a day went by before you did these things, then you didn't have an hour invested in. Now, here's the problem. Most people feel like time thinking about something is time doing something. Ooh, just not the truth. We think about our business all the time. It's kind of sometimes it can be overwhelming and all consuming, right? Because there's excitement and frustration and things, and I'm learning and all these other pieces. But I can tell you what, without this bad boy, this one right here, so without doing these things on a regular basis, are you really in the business? Now, a good example is there's a difference between being a Costco member and actually an ambassador, right? So a Costco, you could be kind of a Viago Club member and just using the benefits of our program doesn't mean you're building the business. Just because you have a gym membership doesn't mean you get results, you know? So you got to go and you got to go consistently. Now, thinking about the gym doesn't do anything. I don't know if you guys know this. If you think about the gym and you don't get any results, all right? It's also interesting if you go to the gym and you just talk to people, you also don't get results. It's not part of the program. So, all right, now, why is this important when it comes to building out your time? Okay, so when you're building out your day and you're structuring out your day, I want you to think about how good do I feel about my personal plan in Viago right now? Like, think about that, right? So, do I feel like I am putting enough? Or is there a place that I could take some time and reallocate? So, here's what I looked at for me. When I was looking to get into a leveraged income or a residual income, I wanted to get there as fast as humanly possible. Like, now I know everyone's circumstance is different. You know, I was very fortunate to be at a young age when I was introduced to this profession. So my bills were relatively low. I wasn't married. So I didn't have a mortgage. So I basically just had kind of survival basic stuff I had to pay, rent, car, food, gas type of stuff, put some clothes on my back. So I didn't really have much to do on that side, which was great. Now, we all start at some place. So, but the reason why I'm saying is what I was looking at is going, okay, what's the fastest way I can get to be making enough residual income to cover all of my bills? Because for me, that's what was freedom. So I was looking at where are the areas I could rob time from that was not creating a leveraged income, meaning what things are not creating a leveraged income for me that I could come back to. It's not a long-term sacrifice, it's a short-term sacrifice of going, okay, what can I let go of, give up on, change, reduce, slightly ignore, whatever it is in my life and my time that I could look at over the course of my day. Now, for many people, if you're looking at this, you put if I'm suggesting from a time frame, many people, here's one of the things, the mistakes that I think people think of not being able to put enough time into their business. So I want to draw this out for you guys, and I'm hoping that it'll help just kind of have a more, like I said, more of a tactical conversation about time. Okay. So let's say you're working right now a 9 to 5. So work, okay, that's right. You got 9 to 5. So you're 9 o'clock. 9 a.m. to let's say it goes to 1, and then you got a lunch, and then you've got 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, right? So this is your work time. So 9, okay, to 1, okay, then you got an hour lunch. Maybe you don't, and maybe you have a 30-minute lunch. I don't know, but you guys get the idea, right? So, and then 5 o'clock. Now, for most people in this, unless you're working from home, are going to have a commute. Okay. Now, depending on where you live, it could be a short commute, could be a long commute. So let's say in this particular case, let's say you're out of the door at 8:30 because you got to commute. So you got to drive and you're home by 5:30. Okay. So you got a 30-minute commute. Could be longer. Like you said, if you live in Chicago, like David, or you live in Los Angeles, some of these places, it could be much longer actually. So if we look at this time frame, here's what a lot of people do when it comes to their network marketing business. And you might have heard these quotes before. So, all right, your 9 to 5, okay, pays the bills, okay, and your 5 to 9, okay, builds your future. Okay, so right, pays the bills. 9 to 5 pays the bills. 5 to 5 builds your future, build your business, however you want to talk about it, build your freedom, right? So, all right, how do you get out of your 9 to 5 is your 5 to 9, right? Those hours, so to speak, okay, if you're looking at it. Now, in this particular case, so here's when I've heard this, I was like, that makes total sense. How many guys are kind of on board with that, right? Even though, okay, I got a few hours, but in that 5 to 9, like there's a lot of stuff that usually needs to get done. That's where usually like life happens. You got, good take care of the kids. You got to do homework. You got school practice. You got recital. You've got, how about having dinner and maybe actually being with your spouse for a second, might be actually, enjoyable. But this is where on all this and kind of going to sleep. So I want you to take a look at, time ways. So the average person, in order to be real scientific, is 8 hours of sleep. That's what's set up scientific, right? Now, can you operate off of a little bit less than that? Probably. Some people, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. It's not my thing. However, okay, can you still get 8 hours of sleep and function through this program? Sure, right? So if you're going to bed, let's take a look at it. So I'm going to give you, okay, you're going to bed at 10 p.m. and waking up at 6 a.m. Some people say, well, what is that? That's 8 hours. They're like, well, 6 a.m. is too early. Wow, I guess freedom isn't that important to you. So, right. So this is one of those things where people say, well, it's some inconvenient truth. So I'm not robbing sleep. I'm just saying, well, I can't go to bed that early. Okay, well, if you go to bed at 11 p.m., then you wake up at 7 a.m., you still get 8 hours, right? So, but you're still getting in there, right? So I'm not telling you now, but here's the deal. What if you slept 7 hours, right? So, and you went to bed, right? So at 10, you got up at 5. Oh my God, you're in the 5 a.m. club. Now, look, I'm not the biggest morning riser, right? So, but what if you can get a bunch of things done in the morning? Now, why I'm bringing this up is this. Here's the people that I see do the best in their business. If you are looking to leverage yourself out of the 9 to 5, don't wait till the 5 to 9. Here's what I want you to think about. Many of you I know are super busy, and most people think about time in blocks of 1 hour, okay? 1 hour time blocks. Because normally when we say how much time do we have to put into the business, people think of it in hours, but very rarely do they break this down. So, okay, I want you to cross this out. If the only time that you will actually do your Viago business is when you have a free dedicated hour, standalone hour, it's going to be very small. How many of you guys know what I'm talking about? right? So because fitting a dedicated hour plus into your business is a lot of times isn't there or isn't reasonable. Now, if it's scheduled, it might work and it may work together here. But here's what I want you guys to be thinking about: the power of the 15-minute block, right? 15 minutes, baby. It is amazing what you can accomplish in 15 minutes. And more importantly, those you can fit into your day. I'm telling you, 15-minute blocks can change your life. And I'm not saying this with a bunch of, it's just hype on it. I'm telling you for sure. So why is that 15 minutes can change your life? Well, in the morning, finding a chance to have a dedicated 15, what if you had 15 minutes extra in the morning before you went to work? Okay. So before you went to work, to do some reach outs in the morning to 15 minutes. Okay. Many people have a break at work, right? But maybe you're not taking a break. Maybe you're taking your lunch break. So, and 15 minutes, if of your hour, you're clocking in and you set a little timer on your phone, 15 minutes, uninterrupted, dedicated time, things that we have to do at work. Once you're clocked in, you're clocked in. If you don't do the work, you get fired, So would you fire yourself as an employee if you hired yourself in Viago? Would you continue hiring yourself in Viago for your productivity, right? If the productivity was this, so this is where a lot of people say, treat your business like a business, and treat it like a hobby. It'll cost you like a hobby. And it's like, I get that, but nah, I think most people treat your business like a job. And so until it pays you like a business. So where you're clocked in 15 minutes here. So on the way home, 15 minutes. Now, while you're driving, if you got to commute, this is inner circle time, baby. Okay, inner circle. Okay, so if I got a 30-minute drive there, 30-minute drive home, that's an hour. I'm getting an hour into my brain, into my subconscious of learning, of growing, of developing. I'll tell you what, you do that every day for 30 days. You do that every day for 90 days. You do that every day for 6 months. You are going to be razor sharp. So, and I don't know if it was Benjamin Franklin or Abraham Lincoln. I've heard it quoted from both of these people, so I don't know. But the famous quote as it goes is a simple one, which is if you have 4 hours to chop down a tree, you spend 3 hours sharpening your axe, 1 hour hitting the tree. You don't go to the same tree hitting it with a dull thing. So all of us, I want you to think about it is like sometimes we're a little bit dull when it comes to our effectiveness. And how do we get better at it? We sharpen. So these are ways that we can do that here. So now in terms of your time here, going back to a little camera here so you guys can see this, and if you have 15 minutes. So if you block this in here and you take a 15-minute block where you're doing some invites here, 15 minutes at lunch, 15 minutes at, so before you get home, what if you did this? This is one of the things I train my people. So if you're leaving work, before you leave work, you get in your car, set a 15-minute timer, you do work, and you cannot leave until you cannot go home until you do your invites. What if you did that? Here's what I know happens for most of you guys. What happens is you get home, and what are you? Tired. Why? Because you worked the whole day, right? So you work the whole day, you get home, the kids are pulling at you, whatever it is, or you got all these other things. Or if you're a stay-at-home mom, now your husband's coming home, right? So, or your spouse is coming home, and now you're taking care of dinner, and there's the thing, and the homework, and the kids, and the dogs, and the blah, 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 blah. You guys know what I'm talking about. And then all of a sudden, it's 9 p.m., and you're like, oh, I got to get to my business. Got to get to my business that is the thing that's going to give me freedom, and you got no energy for it, right? So, and I get it. And then all of a sudden, now you're frustrated, you're mad, and you're mad at yourself, and you're like, ah, God, I guess it's not, maybe it won't happen for me. Maybe it can't happen for me. How do people do this? This is unrealistic. Has anyone ever had any of this bullshit go on in your head? I mean, come on, right? So, and the feeling of whether or not this guy, and the idea is this, it's not that, it's literally just our relationship with time. Because what did we feel like? We felt like we missed it. We felt like the fear of loss, the FOMO has crept up on us of like, I missed today. And now, I can't, now I'm waking up the next day. I don't have a plan other than I'm going to work hard tomorrow. And I wake up, that's it. When I get home tomorrow, I'm really going to get after this thing, right? So, and all of a sudden you go to work and then you're off work and you're like, now I'm going to get after this thing. And you get home and then there's the dog ripped up the thing and the blah. You guys, this is real. These are real things. And we wonder why so many times people go out to this business and they join the witness protection program, or they go, you know what, it's just too much, or it's overwhelming, or I can't do this, or whatever it is. And we get it, right? So our job for sure, though, is to get everybody to go to have an idea of going, look, you can have it all with your plan. But I want us to reframe this whole conversation you have on time as this: time has no emotion to it. It has none. So, and it's one of those things where when you zoom in, it's the most beautiful. When you zoom out on time, it's like we're a spiff of a speck of a dust of a nothingness of our time that we have spent here on this planet. It's like a bloop, like in the grand scheme of things, like you zoom out, like, like we sometimes like think about like, like, oh, I'm, like I'm in the Philippines. Well, yeah, but if you go further out, it's like, oh, I'm on a planet circling a gal, you know what I mean? Like that goes into infinite nothingness. Now, why? Well, when you have a different perspective on this, most people's perspective on time is that it is not their friend. I want you to turn time into your buddy. I want you and time to be having some conversations. Why? Because it is beautiful. Okay. The time that we spent and the places that we went. So, and all that. Yeah. Sean is saying, where did January go? Like, I know. Did you guys know a 12th of 2025 is gone? Like, I don't know about you, but like, I felt like January just evaporated. I genuinely told myself February 1st was January 1st this year because I felt like January was just like, blah, right? So it went by. But I want you guys to go, okay, so time is my buddy. All of us have seen, you guys know the Christmas carols and Ebenezer Scrooge, and past and present and future, and these ghosts, the ghost of times past, the ghost of the present, the ghost of the future all show up, right? So I want you to think about time as a person that you can have a conversation with and go, hey, we haven't been so nice to each other recently, and I put that on me. So I want to develop a better relationship with you because ultimately, the better relationship you have with time, the more freeing and liberating you're going to find in your life and your calendar because it's going to be easier for you to say yes to some things. It's going to say no to some things. It's going to give you guys an opportunity to be able to make decisions that are in alignment with your goals and your values versus feeling productive, busy, overwhelmed, and all the different things. But the main purpose of this conversation that I want to have you guys on is this, is going back to these core development strategies, right? Which are using your membership, exposing people every day, growing every day, and being accountable every day. That's really what we're talking about here. They're very simple concepts, but when you take them over a period of time, they really grow. However, for many of you guys, this is going, how do I take 15-minute blocks and turn them into victories for me on a daily basis? And when you do that, I promise you, when you lay your head down at night doing two things, having done action in your business, that was productive. And number two, going to sleep, knowing you have a plan for tomorrow to be productive, you will have a good night's rest. So how you win your year is you don't focus on your year. You win your month. How you win your month is you win your week, and you win your week by winning your days. And how you win your day is you plan your day before you start your day, and then you wake up and you work your plan. Now, don't be mean to yourself if you're not brilliant at this on the first go around. Hang on a sec, my dog is freaking out. So, come on. So, sorry about that. So give yourself a little bit of grace, save yourself a little bit of time. So, but between now and this month, what I want you to think about is what if over the course of looking back on January, let's just take January for an example. Okay. If we take January for an example and you go, okay, if I implemented the strategy and I just dedicated, okay, 15 minutes. Now, some of you guys were like, well, I'm too busy. Well, leave for your job 15 minutes early, get in the parking lot 15 minutes early, and take that 15 minutes before you walk into work. That's part of your ritual now. So how can I create rituals and habits to safeguard these 15-minute blocks so that way I can be putting more time in? Because this is one of those things. There is an element of, I don't know if you want to call it luck, or I would call it more ratios when it comes to our business, where you do enough action, you do enough activity, you do enough exposures, you talk to enough people, you present to enough people, eventually you find good people, right? So why? Two things happen. The law of numbers kicks in and your skill sets kick in. Both of those things happen with doing lots of action and doing lots of activity. The thing that I can't do is I can't force you into doing more activity Because for many of you, your relationship mentally with time is, I just don't have enough time anyway. So how can we reallocate or restructure our conversation around that to where I can go, oh, I could fit that in. That would work for me. Here's how I could structure my day better. Here's where I've got a 15. Here's where I've got this. And if I do those things and I do them consistently, oh man, there's some freedom in it. Now, is it a race to the top? No, look, there are people that are going to rocket to the top of a company right away. The most important thing is, I don't care how long it takes you to make it to the finish line. My thing is, you make it. That's it. If it takes you longer than the other person, don't care. Right now, I know you want it to happen faster. Everybody wants it to happen faster than it happens. I just want it to happen. And for many people, the reason why there's a gap between it happening and not happening is simply because, how do I fit this into my life to where I can make it work? And this is an area that I know that can help for many of you guys. So hopefully these are a few concepts that you can take into your practice, take into your life, but more importantly, also take into your teaching. So when you're working with your new ambassadors and they come to you and you ask them at that game plan, how many hours a week do you have to put into your business? Remember, it's not our business, it's your business, right? So how much time do you have? And they say 5 hours a week. You say, perfect. So these are the 5 hours. This is the 1 hour a day I suggest you put into your life. And maybe here's how I suggest you squeeze it in. Drive time, you can listen to this. So that way, when you're checking in, there's a plan there for the right actions. All right. So what are we closing this month? What are we focused on? It is February. We've got double cycles. We've got Club 6. We've got the points promotion. We've got, we literally, I mean, the company's throwing everything in the kitchen sink at us right now. All right. So for us to go out there and build this thing like crazy. So what I would be looking at is, how many people can I get in front of the information? And I'm not concerned about who says yes, who says no, who says kind of, who says sort of, any of that kind of stuff. I'm just out there, present, show, because we have something incredible to share with people about the value of our membership. And then the number one thing I got to get people to do once they're in is get them on a trip, because we know what happens when you go on an escape with us. You're never escaping us. That's funny. So, all right, I'm gonna head out here before I say something stupid. So I love you guys. I can't wait to see you guys. We've got more stuff going on this week. Have a blessed week, and I want you to go have a good conversation with your buddy Time, and make sure that you are having a much more productive conversation with yourself and fitting in more productive activity this week. God bless. Bye, guys.